What is going on? Welcome to the channel. If you're new around here, welcome to the strongest gang in the Pokemon universe, the Totodile gang, and no, you don't have a choice, you're stuck here now. And today we're talking about the new announcements from Pokemon Day and how Mega Evolutions are coming back. So, if you didn't know, Mega Evolutions have been around in the Pokemon trading card game for quite some time. They first were released in the XY era nearly 10 years ago. And as you can see, they had a good amount of cards with the Mega label on them, and some were very powerful, including the Mega Charizard EX, which can smack for 300 damage, which at the time was unheard of. Now, as you might notice, all of these are within the low 200 HP range. But that is going to change here pretty soon, because as Pokemon announced, we are getting some Mega Evolutions back. The two that they have announced so far are Mega Lucario EX, which is a 340 HP Stage 1 Pokemon, which that's wild. The attacks are pretty nasty, but that's a tank. And then we also are getting Mega Gardevoir EX sitting at 360 HP. Now that one is a stage 2, and again, neither of these cards look like super overwhelming right now. I think if anything, Mega Lucario is probably more impressive, especially when you consider we have Salvatore in the format, which allows you to effectively get your Lucario down turn 1, go in second, and you can just attack for 130, or if you have a Premium Power Pro, literally just like a Gatorade, you can hit for an additional 30 damage with your fighting Pokemon. So we could be seeing a potential meta where if everything goes well, you get your Lucario, you get your Riolu, you have a Salvatore, you have one energy, you have a Premium Power Pro, and now you're hitting for 160 damage. 160! And you can attach up to 3 basic fighting energy cards from your discard pile to your benched Pokemon. So if you do have Squawkabilly, and you get rid of a couple energies, and you get everything you need, boom, you can bring those energies right back, throw them on your benched Pokemon. That's crazy. Now imagine this paired up with, I don't know, Brute Bonnet, poison it, put a Binding Moki on it. Oh no, and all of a sudden, obviously we don't have Radiant Sneasler anymore, but all of a sudden that Aura Jab with the Premium Power Pro could be hitting for 200, plus the 1 damage you're dealing for poison, so that's 210 damage on the first turn. If we're combining this with some sort of poison deck, which just seems like that kind of would make sense, because then you could also have fighting energies, bring them onto Cloth, and boom, now you have a Mega Lucario, Brute Bonnet, Cloth deck. That's nasty. I just thought about that. I just thought of that, by the way. This is on the fly, so y'all are getting some premium ideas here. Now with Mega Gardevoir, I'm a little bit less nervous about this one. I saw it at first, and I thought it was going to be pretty good, and then I actually read it, and I was like, oh. So it's like, it's not bad. It's not bad. This attack does 50 damage for each Psychic Energy attached to all of your Pokemon. All you need are like 7 or 8 energies on the board, and now you're hitting for a good amount of damage. I think the only problem is that Gardevoir can already kind of do that with Drifloom, but it's not bad. The first attack, not terrible either. For each of your benched Pokemon, search your deck for basic energy and attach to that Pokemon. This is kind of nice because obviously we have the good Curlia leaving the format. So you can no longer just discard energies, get them into the discard super quickly. Now you at least have some way to just get them out of your deck and get them onto the board. But again, a lot of Gardevoir's attackers really rely on getting damage counters on themselves to deal more damage. So this doesn't really help it that much in that instance. So Mega Gardevoir is interesting. I don't know if it's going to be anything super useful. I do think a Turbo Mega Lucario deck could be pretty nasty. But there's one thing you have to keep in mind when talking about Mega Pokemon. These cost 3 prize cards when they are knocked out. They are bringing back the 3 prize card mechanic from VMAX Pokemon, which, to be honest, I didn't miss. I am a fan of a slower meta. I do not like that Pokemon can be worth 3 prize cards. That seems a little excessive. But whatever. Pokemon is like a confused teenager. They want the game to be slower. They want the game to be faster. They want the game to be slower. They want the game to be faster. They can't decide. So they're just giving everybody a little bit of everything. And I don't think that's a good strategy. But then again, these cards are not out yet. We do not know when these cards will come out as of now, I believe. So there's a good chance the meta will have changed a little bit by the time these come out. But we do know they are going to be an I. So it's going to be in the next year or so. These cards are coming pretty soon. I'm excited to see what other Mega Evolutions we are getting. Because if we take a look back at some of the older Mega Pokemon. This was kind of an old Game Rant article about the strongest EX cards, you know? And it's got stuff like Mega Gengar. You can just choose one of your opponent's attacks and use it as this attack. Pretty nasty, but it depends on who you're facing, obviously, for that to really work. Then it goes like Mega Charizard, does 300 damage, but you discard the top 5 cards of your deck. Look at the energy requirement for these things. You got 2 fires, a dark, and 2 colorless. This is a Mega Charizard. It is 230 HP, and I believe back in the day, yeah, okay, this evolves from Charizard EX, so that's essentially a stage 1, which is not bad. And then when one of your Pokemon becomes a Mega Evolution, your turn ends. Now, does that still... Okay, it does not look like they are carrying that over, which makes sense because, again, the meta is so much faster. But that was a bit of a hindrance for Mega Pokemon that they no longer have, which is interesting. It's very interesting. They got the other Mega Charizard, which does 50 damage to itself, but you can do 300 for 2 fires, 3 colorless. That's not terrible, but like you look at the cards we got today, and you can deal like 280 for 2 energies. So it just, the power creep is insane. I'm gonna have to do a video on power creep because like this was about 10 years ago. If that. Like, I'm terrible with time. But, this was not that long ago, and these Pokemon would be just absolutely crushed in today's meta. 2 dark, 2 colorless, 110 damage, plus 60 more for each damage counter in your opponent's active. That's actually pretty nasty. In today's meta, that would be like probably a 2 dark energy attack. That's pretty nasty. I do really like Mega Tyranitar. Mega Ampharos. You're dealing 120. You may do 50 more damage and leave your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed. If you do, this Pokemon does 30 damage to itself. So you're only hitting for 170 and paralyzing for 2 lightning and 2 colorless. So they have added so that Mega Pokemon now have 2 attacks, which again just fits in better with today's meta. But I'm very curious to see what other Mega Pokemon they're going to release. You figure... It's been long enough since they've put out a new Charizard card. You figure we're going to get a Mega Charizard because that will just make Pokemon a lot of money. But I don't know. I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued to see where this meta goes. And with this extremely fast approach with these Mega Pokemon. Extremely fast approach. You can get Lucario down so quickly. You can get it attacking so quickly. I do think, I'm bringing it back to Salvatore, I do really think Salvatore is going to be super impactful in the upcoming meta. It's a supporter that essentially acts as like part of a grand tree. You know, you can go into your deck, search your deck, accept any Pokemon with an ability. That's the only drawback. Except for any Pokemon with an ability that evolves from one of your Pokemon in play and put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it. You can use this card on a Pokemon that was put in play when setting up to play or on the turn it was put into play. Our Mega Pokemon, they do not have abilities. So Mega Lucario can be grabbed with Salvatore and utilized on the first turn. Which is just... wild. That's just wild. You can also, I saw a comment that said you can use Drillbur to get your fighting energies into the discard too. So you can both make sure that you're hitting for 130 with Mega Lucario and utilizing the effect of that attack. Getting the 3 energies out of the discard pile onto your bench and stocking up for your next Lucario, your next whatever this might be paired with. I don't know. But that is very interesting. These are my thoughts on the new Mega Evolution Pokemon. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts if you're a little bit anxious about the reintroduction of 3 prize Pokemon in the meta, or if you weren't playing back in the times when we had 3 prize Pokemon in the meta. Let me know your thoughts. I personally am a little bit nervous. I think the game is going to go a lot faster, and I'm never a big fan of that. But who knows? We'll see what happens. We are a little ways away from this. But let me know what you thought of this style of video. Trying something a little bit different, doing a little bit more of a breaking news angle. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, consider dropping a little like and subscribe. If you really enjoyed, consider hitting that notification bell to be notified every time I post a video or go live. I do stream every Tuesday and Friday at 6, so check me out. And I really appreciate y'all stopping by. I love you so much, my beautiful Totodile gang. I'll see y'all later.